Oh, it's working. I just tried to get on twice and it was rejecting it, saying I couldn't go live. Well, for those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to read a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, rules could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Well, that's odd. That was really weird. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for 5 years. That's never happened where I've tried to go live and it says live stream not available, live stream not available. It did that to me twice, maybe because I tried to come on a little bit earlier, but I don't know. I have a feeling that somehow it's going to tie into the reading, almost like someone keeps trying to come towards you, but they're like they keep getting in their own way. So if you've been getting readings where people are saying, "Oh, this person's coming to you," and you're like, "Yeah, yeah, they've been saying that. They've been saying that," it's because that person energetically, really, that's their intention. It's just something keeps happening. So we're gonna see why I feel that. Sometimes I get a little tidbit before a reading. We're going to see how it all ties in. But for those of you that are new to my channel, I like to dive deep within the reading. So the readings have a therapy style to them. I like to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, to help you understand why your person's doing what they're doing. But most of all, why you're attracting that person into your life and what you can do to shape shift the energy. A lot of times when we're dealing with the karmic, we get stuck in our head, we get stuck in the emotion. And so we get overstimulated. And when we get overstimulated, we don't really know what we feel. And then it's very difficult to discern what's happening in a connection. And of course, we're always dealing with some sort of soul mate, which is a divine connection, whether that's a past life karmic mate or whether it's a twin flame. Soulmates come in for a day, a season, or a lifetime. We just never know until we're in the situation. All right. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you know where to find it in the description box. $7.99 will get you shadow healing coaching. And that's a big deal because my group shadow healing coaching is done with cards. So it's done really fun. But we do all the exercises. You get inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. And who wants to be consistent while doing that kind of stuff? A lot of times we don't. It's like we feel like we're fine. Sometimes it's just like too much to look at, or the effects of the trauma. When you have been around a narcissist, you don't realize that now your amygdala is swollen and you're you're paranoid. You feel like you can't be in a relationship. You're not as connected to your physical body. You're seeing how it's influencing other areas of your life. Well, this coaching program will help you to recreate your life because you're the alchemist of your life. No one can come in and change your life and do it for you. That's the illusion a lot of times. People can help you, but you yourself has to do it because you're only having a connection with the universe. Everyone's a reflection of yourself, different elements of yourself. You'll notice within your friends, like you might be like, I love that person, they're my best friend, but sometimes they're like an asshole. Like, you know what I mean? And then because you know them up close and personal, you see their fragmented parts of themselves, but you choose to overlook. And that's really what it is. When you get older, you realize that friendships are dear and relationships are dear. So we wind up putting extra attention in sometimes to relationships that either we've grown out of or whatever the issue is. So not to get rid of the baby with the baby water, but to balance the energy out so that you can feel, that it feels right. And it feels right in the heart, it feels right in the gut. And if you check in with the mind, it also feels right. So that you can feel clear within your decisions, confidence. Because strength comes from creating a strong you, not creating a strong environment, because we can't control our environment. But we can certainly change our environment by changing. All right, let's see what the underlying energy is. We always want to know what that is, because when we're dealing with people that wear masks, create facades, well, they're showing us one thing, but usually what's going on is something completely different. And that's why a lot of times you're dealing with the person that says one thing and does another. So the underlying energy is timelessness. We're going to pull another one because obviously timelessness is a love, a love that's timelessness is like a soulmate twin flame. Could be a past life karmic mate. Somebody that there is a very strong soul tie to. And I would also say like it's a soul relationship, because there's lessons and the lessons help you. Yeah, see, look, knowledge, wisdom. It's like soulmate. This is my soulmate card too, because we see the sacred geometry, see the dove, the wisdom and the knowledge is clear cognizance, which is, I don't know how I know that, I just know. It's the spiritual realm of when you meet someone and they just feel like home. Like you understand them. They understand you. You work together. Now that doesn't mean that there might not be soul wounds within relationships, such as trust. See, usually we meet these relationships at a time in our life when we feel like I've given up kind of a little bit on relationships. And so they found you in a place like that. And there's this intense connection, which makes you want to actually have a relationship. But it doesn't mean that there aren't those wounds there. Timelessness is that. But then the card next underneath it was betrayal. So when we have this, it doesn't necessarily even mean that the person deliberately tried to do something. Unfortunately, a lot of times they did, but sometimes it's that they just didn't show up for you. Sometimes it's just, whatever their wound was. So we always want to see what the person's intention was. There are some people that really they don't care. They're selfish, they're not evolved. And so you might be dealing with someone like that, which is what I feel like you dealt with someone that, even though this was a very strong soul connection, this person disregarded it. They didn't honor it. And so, when you said something, their energy at one point was very self-righteous, who are you to ask me? Almost like you're nobody. Or gave you that impression, or I don't have to answer to you. Is someone that doesn't take accountability. It's not about being right, but if the person's means something to you, you don't get caught up in what's right. This person got caught up in what's right. They disrespected you, and they didn't care that they didn't give you time, and they neglected you. So we know that this is the underlying energy of why they don't want to really come towards you, because what's their excuse for doing that? Why did they do what they did? And where are they now? But this is the energy. I feel like this person really wants to come towards you, but again, they feel what they did. And we see part of what they did. We'll pull 3 more from a different deck. Ooh. I have to get those. Now. I always feel like everything means something. So if they fell out, it means something. All right. Let's see. So again, this person tends to get into relationships that they're very attracted to the person. But what happens is it's just sexual. And so they go 100 miles an hour. They don't build the emotional connection. And that explains why this person avoided you like the plague, and why they didn't give you time, because they don't feel the emotion. It's all about the sex. It's all about the passion. It's all about the lust. It's all about the fantasy. Like everybody's a liar, kind of. It's very surface. And so this person would come super fast into your life because there is this strong connection, but they haven't elevated it. And you have to elevate it by giving it time. They don't have relationships like that. And also, like, what it is that they have a lot of unresolved, like, trauma that plays out as, like, really conflicts within your connection for no apparent reason. Like, you just feel like they make the relationship very turbulent, like it's very difficult. You know what it feels like? If I was like in a car stuck in traffic and I would go an inch and then I stop, and then I go an inch and then I stop, and then I go an inch and it stop. It's almost like this person stops it from actually, by deliberately getting in their own way, sabotaging, because they have a lot of, unresolved trauma. So it gives anxiety. It gives a lot of anxiety. This person is like just has a tremendous amount of anxiety. And the thing is, they have a lot of secret desire for you. So they don't verbalize anything, and also this person needs to really learn how to be vulnerable, learn how to talk, reveal themselves. And that's what this connection is all about. So it's like you're their secret desire, but they're not healed. Sorry, I have construction going on in my house. I don't know if you hear that. But I wasn't on yesterday and I missed you guys. So that's the thing. Now let's take a peek and see. That's cool. Let's see where they are. Okay, surrender brings us together faster than resistance. So this person knows that they're resisting the connection, but for whatever reason, I'm intuitively picking up like they thought that maybe you were going to chase after them. I need you to trust me and believe I am working towards a union with you. Didn't I tell you I felt like this person was coming back? And it's like, and that they've wanted to come back. And I knew it. It's like, I'm praying you'll come back after everything that's happened between us. I worried that you won't forgive me and allow me another chance. So this person knows that they screwed up the connection. They know, they feel they feel your energy still. So that's the thing. This is not a logical thing with this person. They were not planning on having feelings for you. This person was in player energy, and then they wound up having feelings for you, and they didn't almost know what to do with those feelings. But they feel like the energy has a life of its own, almost because they can't control love. You can't control it. That's the thing. This person's used to controlling and manipulating their relationship. So they have deep feelings. They're not used to having feelings. They're used to being able to manipulate. They can't manipulate this because, hey, they gave you less and you knew your worth. So clearly this person knows, I didn't give you the time. I didn't respect you. I know that came out in the cards, and but you really are my secret desire. It's like, but they're not emotionally intelligent. They're not emotionally intelligent. That's what it is. Again, they're working up the courage to contact you. Literally, swear to God, they are like I picked up my deck and that was right there. Okay, I'm working up the courage to contact you, and that's what I felt. It's like almost like two steps forward. They might have tried to call you and then hung up the phone, or want to drive past your house and then they don't. I have unwillingly sabotaged our connection. This person didn't mean to do it. That's the whole thing. It's like you met them at a time that they weren't looking for anything. and they never had a connection like this before. So they're nervous to come back because they have feelings for you, and you might be like, no, take a hike. I'm not interested in you after how you treated me. It's like they know why. They see it. They're nervous. Childhood wounds like influence this person's actions. Why you're like, well, why aren't they coming towards me? Well, that's why they're still reliving that trauma. And until they heal it, like they would stay kind of in a low vibration. Them like having a connection to you brings them to the energy of unconditional love to surrender, but really to do their healing because this person needs healing. They were player energy because, hey, it's easier. It's easier not to be in a surface relationship. No emotions, no one gets hurt. I compartmentalize. I have friends, I have sex, I have this. Everything's compartmentalized. And you come along, they don't know what to do with this. So, like I said, it's making them do the healing, but they're working up the courage to contact you. So it doesn't mean that you have to take this person back, but what it does mean is that this person, wants to fix things. Let's see. I'm going to pull just a few more to see. I'll pull from this deck. A different deck just to see. We already know, but what are they going to do? I feel terrible for hurting you. So we know that they're coming back. We already know that they feel bad because they realize who you are now. I don't think this person realized who you were. They didn't think that they were going to have any feeling one way or the other because, hey, they never have before. And when you're talking to a lot of people and you're a player, they weren't giving you really the time to really be able to determine your energy from everyone else. But now that you didn't run after them and you didn't lower your standards, this person that triggered their ego, now they actually see who you are. Now they're like, they have respect for you. Now they can see the difference between you and everyone else. But they weren't able to, and they were not even in a place where they wanted a relationship or love. If they don't want to ever feel. They needed to do the healing. I'm afraid of commitment. Like that's why this person still doesn't mean that they're still not gonna have commitment issues, even though that they have feelings for you. But this is why they did what they did. We see, so you know that they would be an avoidant. But I love you. So it's one big fucking contradiction. And that's what I was saying. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. What for, you have to say. Because this is a type of relationship that you'd probably be like, I want to punch your face. But I also love you. But I feel crazy because you're making me crazy. Because this person's an avoidant. They have commitment issues. They're issues that before they met you. See, people make us change. People make us consider changing when we've gotten hurt. Otherwise, no one volunteers to go back into a relationship or to ever try again unless someone enters their life to show them a different perception. And that's what happened with them. See, and you're their secret desire, which means they're not advertising that to anybody. Because, hey, that means I got to share my feelings and my emotions. And I also don't know whether you're going to come back or not. Because after everything that I did to you, which is what everything said in the card, I just like to restate it. But again, it's one big contradiction. So you have to say what for. Because you know that they're coming back. And Spirit says, well, first of all, it's going to trigger your wounds so that you can heal, because that shouldn't be there. Any wounds gives us a perception that there's separation, and there's separation from your creator, separation from your physical body, your separation from other people, separation from just the earth elements is what spirit says, or even sometimes spiritually. So we have to integrate and then transmute that negative energy so that we can heal. And it doesn't mean that it's easy, it's scary. That's why spirit brings people to you that are soulmates, that like this you change this person's like perception 3,000%. I wouldn't even say like a 180, like they just changed because they never saw the difference, nor did they ever think that they could have somebody like you, and they never met anyone like you, and they never had that type of connection. So it's all of it. It's all of it. And you are better than them, and they know that. They don't want to be with somebody that is like on their level or beneath them. They secretly want to be with someone that's like that because they want that for themselves. They look at your life, they say, I like the way that you live. I like the way that you are. And you could just be, I'm just peaceful. This person, like I said, they're anything but. You found them in drama energy. So we look at the first inner child wound, protection. Second card out, belittled. Third card out, neglect. Well, now we see why you're a mirror of whom what comes into your life, right? So it means that those wounds are still like prevalent. Crafts and creativity. You might say, I don't have any creativity, and spirit says, well, you didn't develop it, but it's there. It's you're not just your wounds. You don't just inherit wounds. You inherit, your ancestors' gifts, their talents, and they had a lot of them, based on how they grew up. I mean, they didn't have a lot. They weren't sitting around watching TV, I'll tell you that. They had hobbies and interests. So there's something about you that spirit says you don't know because, hey, that's not where the focus was. Support. We keep seeing that. Like there's a theme here with the root chakra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is love. And 7 for good luck is just hope. So usually I just pick 6, but every now and again I like to pick an extra, and I don't know why that is. But what we see here is like protection and support. If you were neglected, where hey, there was just things going on in the home. It doesn't necessarily mean abuse all the time, but it does show here that there was a like I'd say this is emotional and psychological abuse. So if someone's belittling you, and or that's the way that you saw it. Well, like my mother just talks to me like that, or my dad just was that way, or my sibling was that way, or someone that I respected and loved just was that way. When they would get mad, they would, just spew out that I was like this horrible person, but just talk down to me, make me feel like not good enough, inadequate, shame. Again, if you're belittled, that's what it feels like as a child. So even if you didn't do anything wrong, you could be like, all I did was not screw on the cap to the, to the jar and correctly, and you could be belittled. Well, you do everything half-assed. What really, like you can't, like it's a big thing because the parent talks with anger, and again, and is talking down to, making that child feel unworthy, not good enough. And neglect, like I said, it's the perception, but it made you feel not loved. It made you feel like not good enough. It ruined any type of hope. And you're a hopeful person, like you're a sensitive person. Children are sensitive. They believe that they can have anything. That's why children have the imagination. That's why it says be like childlike in the Bible, because hey, if you can imagine it, you can create it, you embody that. It's the innocence of relationship gets wounded when you grow up in a family where like the parent is verbally abusive because hey, that's the way that they were talked to, and that's the way that they were talked to, and that's the way that they were talked to. So we have to break that karmic cycle, but understand that spiritual issues that happen when you feel like belittled is that you feel like not good enough, you feel inadequate. Even if you know that you're not that person, you felt that energy when you were a child and you never integrated it, you never transmuted it. You might say, well, I went to classes and I did healing therapy and I did, but I still, though my mind knows, my body does not, because your body is your mind's faithful servant and it remembers the energetic feeling. So, again, that's the energetic frequency that we give out. So, without embodying a whole new consciousness, your spirit says, you didn't learn that lesson. You're in physical form to learn and to manifest. And part of learning is actually alchemizing that energy, and you are the alchemist of your life. So spirit says, until you do that, you're going to still have that energy. And it's not because, like you said, you deserve it, but if you had a person that you didn't trust, your brain looks for that. It's a survival mechanism. So we have to also bypass the reptilian mind. And we can do that. Don't mind the construction if you hear it. Um, Transmute the negative energy by learning how to navigate through difficult situations with calm and acceptance. So, and that might not seem like a big deal to you, but that actually really is a big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the second chakra is all about your unique individuality, who you perceive you are when you look in the mirror. It's how well you can go with the flow of life. It's how balanced you are. And so when you grow up with a parent that's difficult, it makes it really difficult to go with the flow of life, right? I mean, come on. It's like you come home and you're like, is that parent, what mood are they going to be in? Everything is about that parent's mood, and because you're afraid, because it's like walking on a landmine, especially with energy like that. So because the children, because like, oh, I don't want to hear it, they're gonna get mad, they're gonna take out their anger out on me. So spirit says, yes, so I bring you difficult people now. That person's difficult. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to handle it the same way that you handled your mother or your father, that, well, I'm just going to be nice and not deal with it? I'm going to try and be, where you wind up giving yourself away? Or are you going to say, no, don't even bother fucking coming in here any step of the line? I did no. Where spirit says you have to find your balance with it. That's a second chakra imbalance. So you're supposed to go through the experience to handle it differently. So what you say is, no one can stop me. Only I stop me, because I would let you emotionally take me away from myself. So spirit says that's a karmic, first of all. It's, again, it feels like a twin flame. It feels like a soulmate, but they're not energetically high enough, is what spirit says. Spirit says we're trying to get them high enough. By, again, you're the catalyst. We're trying to do that in this lifetime. It's like, but what you see is their evolvement process isn't really the quickest. It's like because they get in their own way. There's a lot of trauma, whatever they experienced. So it's like that. But we see here that you also went through that trauma, and this person made you feel all that trauma and brought it all up. Where really spirit says, I needed you to go through this, and you have limitless potential that no one can stop you. No one can stop you. Only you stop you, because emotionally, Again, you would let that parent affect you. Oh, is that parent going to be in a good mood? Is that parent going to be in the bad mood? You became highly sensitive to the environment. And I told you, you're not allowed to become part of the environment. You can be in the environment, but don't become part of the world. The world is evil. Be in the world, contributing to the world by giving and receiving of love. It's again, and you'll see your limitless potential, that this person can't do anything. No one can do anything to you. And you needed to see that, because growing up with a parent that belittled you, you were always afraid. And so you kind of, spirit says, you needed to learn how to handle difficult people a lot better. And then it's again, nurture the light within you to guide you in dark times. And Spirit's saying it's like, this is, you grow those. Remember, I said you had a hobby, you had an interest, that there's a part of you that you don't even know yet. And Spirit says, again, something with your crafts, creativity, art, it could be singing, it could be anything that is more of the right brain that's creative. And Spirit says that's going to connect you also to different people, new situations and experiences. And it's going to grow a world, because that's how Spirit makes a world where there is no new world where you're like, well, I'm just stuck with this person. Spirit says you're not stuck with that, with anyone. And if anything, you need to be the example for that person. You're not with that person. If I brought that person into your life, I would like them to spiritually be where you are. It's like, that's the whole point. It's again, and they know that they would have to do that. And they also know, hey, they're not starting off, at the mezzanine either. They're starting off at the fucking basement. And it's because, hey, they were real shit. And they know that, but they have to know that in order to repent, in order to fix it, in order to heal it. And it has to be hard for this person to actually win you over. They have a closed heart chakra, Spirit says, from their trauma. And if their trauma looks like your trauma, well, trust is a hard thing. Second chakra imbalance. Can't go with the flow, want to control. That's what this person was used to navigating. The emotional center, where Spirit says, are you going to emotionally get fucked up because of this person? You better not. You better not. This is, again, like, your choice of focus is your greatest tool. This person, they can't control love. Yeah, they think I realize that they acted like that. But God says, I'm love. And love is also the energy of the universe. So they're never going to win, because the universe is continually going to bring reminders to this person, which is why they feel bad, which is why they're in a place of, I feel like shit. And Spirit says, yeah, that's why you need to go on and see your limitless potential. So this person actually sees, hey, you didn't want to give me the time, and I was the real deal. Well, fuck you. Look at what I'm creating. You're not going to say that, but what you're saying is, with what you're creating, I'm not that. So that this person feels the consequence. And also Spirit says, so that you get your healing, that say it'll be your option whether or not you want to take this person back or not, because you're going to be you're in a good place, and Spirit says, and only good things are going to come, but you have to find balance through growing more passions, and know that's the hobbies and interests, and finding yourself, because that's what's going to help you on an emotional level. So Spirit says, I brought this person in to try to throw you all out of balance emotionally, because, hey, that's how you grew up and it affected you too much. So again, then now you get difficult people, where you're like, I get difficult people that bully me, or they just think that I'm this way. And Spirit says, well, there's another narrative, and you just lived it. You just walked through this other narrative. Now you're going to see this person actually put in effort. So it's not even, hey, I want that, but it's for your healing. Spirit says it's your choice if you want this person. you know. And we leave off with one more message. If you like the video, give it a like. Don't forget, it's good karma. And one more, and this is gratitude. Spirit says, be in a place of gratitude. Be aware of the light that's in your life. Direct your thoughts to the beauty in and around you. Give thanks to God for every little thing that brings you joy. And, no riches surround you. And all that life brings you. And life is going to bring you more, that you're being blessed. It's like this person's not being blessed. This person wants to come back into your life. And Spirit says, keep focused on what you're doing. It's like, because you're commanding respect. And that might be also a thing where emotionally you tend to get out of balance because, hey, people don't respect you. So, and this relationship definitely would be that way. And Spirit says, yes, but it was all about you learning how to handle it differently so that you get a different outcome. So you can see yourself differently. So that you can then, when you're out in the world having infinite possibilities and dealing with difficult people, you're not going to care because you're going to say, well, now I'm strong within myself now. So I dealt with that person like that back in such and such, and you become stronger, and people can't shake you and they can't emotionally manipulate you. I feel like, hey, you always a little bit highly sensitive, and people would tend to utilize your emotions against you, and that made you feel bad. That made you feel, when really it's those people were gaslighting. People manipulate through the emotions. And Spirit said, hey, I needed you to master that. But you did, and you passed, and on to infinite possibilities. So I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye. Love you.